Ian, we're going to talk about the next console, next playground game system for indoor family game night, fun and games, and physical play.
Family fun, family.
We talked about this about a year ago at first, and we tried to compare it to, what's that console that tried to be family friendly?
Oh, the Amico.
The Intellivision Amico that never came out and was ended up being largely fraudulent. So this is interesting because it's geared towards family and children, a younger audience, but it actually was released, and it's on Amazon, and there's positive ratings on there. And so what is it? It's this, it's a cube that you put in front of your TV with a camera that tracks your motion. It's a motion tracker.
It's a cute little box. I'll admit that. It's actually
adorable.
It's kind of cute. Yeah. It's a cute little box with a, essentially a webcam on it. This is a Kinect in a box.
Sure.
It's a PlayStation iToy. It's a Kinect. It's a that's what it is. It's a small Kinect in a box. It's $200, which
with 5 games.
With 5 games, which price wise, I don't know, but it's certainly better than the $300 that a certain family fun game competitor would have been offering in this space. 5 games. They're all motion controlled. It has a little wand as well, and it has an interesting. I haven't really thought too much about how much I like it, but it has an interesting sort of game distribution method in that you pay for a subscription, and it gives you all the games that are going to be released that year. And you'll have to pay the subscription again, I think, to keep the games active. But in the end, probably easier and better for the type of system it is trying to be than releasing a bunch of small games that you have to constantly ask. Because if this is for children,
yes,
and the Amico is supposed to be for family, parents can put the credit card information in, pay for it, and their kids can't fucking bother them for a year about games.
There's no store to worry about.
There's no new games that they won't have because it's going to be on the system. They're not going to have something that their friend doesn't. They're not going to be asking you for your credit card information every 2 weeks, every month.
So what type of games you get? You get stuff like Fruit Ninja. You see, there's a lot of these games where like some of the games you see yourself on the screen. There's like a whack-a-mole. You see yourself hitting the stuff. Like I said, with the camera, okay, it's cute. There's a Peppa Pig game in there that the kids like.
More relevant than, say, Care Bears or, not Sesame Street, but certainly more relevant than Care Bears.
Especially because it's not a fucking mobile game.
Right.
That first and foremost.
Yes. There's a Just Dance type of game.
Yep. There's a game called Starry that they have licensed songs. So Just Dance is still popular. I mean, they were still making Wii Just Dance games like 2 years ago. I don't know if they still are or not, but they're going forever. Right. So that game is way popular forever, Just Dance.
And while I thought we had talked about it last year because we saw it on a crowdfunding website, you could find no traces of it.
Yeah, it was ready to go, and I think people at the time were pre-ordering it a year ago, I think.
Okay, that's what it was. And so there was no hyping. It was They had an idea, they put it together, they released it.
They had games, so Fruit Ninja comes with it. You slice your way to the top while avoiding bombs. Party Foul, it's party games where you're moving around, and these are all games where, for the most part, you're moving around. There's Whack-A-Mole. There's the Goalkeeper. I remember talking about it's a soccer one where you're the goalkeeper. So there's examples on the website there. Again, simple motion games, probably not that much more advanced than what you would have saw on the Wii 15 years ago. Better technology probably with the camera and tracking, but probably you're talking about that sort of thing. And then you have the full catalog of games that's offered. Look at this. They have Sesame Street games, Magical Letter Hunt, and Elmo Says, but I guarantee you they're not website games that are free. There's a bowling game. Right. There's Family Fitness Challenge. There's a tennis game, Basketball Knockout, where it's, like the arcade basketball. Simple games that make sense if you buy them together as a package, not charging you $20 to $30 each for old arcade games. So the angle does make sense. I just don't know how big the market is.
So that's what I was going to say. This, when you look at it on paper, it did everything right that a lot of these other companies do wrong. They got it within a price point that I think is more or less reasonable. They actually released it. They have licenses that are relevant to kids.
Sure.
My thing is, I still look at this, and despite saying those nice things about it, I don't think it's necessarily a great idea, and I don't think that this is something I would ever recommend over a Switch.
I mean, yeah, you're gonna get into what's the audience like. There's a game where
for very small kids, I actually think this is pretty good because it's easy, it's active, it gets them away from their tablets, which has become the #1 child entertainment device.
There's a game here, for example, called Air Racer, where it's almost like the rings and like pilot wings. You have to fly through the rings, and you're using your body to like you're like the airplane, and like even an adult can have fun with that for a few minutes, and the kid would probably like it.
But the kid, I think, is obviously necessary here, and,
yes.
and young kids, and that's the other part of my problem is kids are going to grow out of this very quickly, I think, and it's going to make the $200 price tag
sting a little bit,
sting more.
They still have the 5 games that came with it,
because unfortunately, unlike something like a Switch, which a kid can grow with, and parents can enjoy, I don't see the parents firing this up for game night after the kids go to bed.
This is definitely
and kids will get bored of this.
This is definitely probably like 10 and under. Looking at
under 10.
There's a Hungry Hippos game.
I'm thinking like 5 to 10.
Yeah, I said 10.
Yeah,
under
5. 10. Yeah.
There's a game called Doodle. There's 20 plus games when you get the subscription. There's a Doodle Heads game where you're it's like you're shooting at things, but it's like Doodle style.
Okay.
There's at least interesting things here, and not, hey, we're gonna get Missile Command and make it look worse somehow and sell it to you for $15 or $20.
Yes.
Like, this is actually kid and family friendly. I guess that's the thing. Like, the issue is like, okay, by the way, on Amazon it has good ratings. There's 291 ratings, which isn't great for a game system, but it is #1 bestseller in the plug and play video games, and it does say 3,000 plus bought in the past month. I mean, that's not bad. For a start, that's not bad.
I guess what it comes down to is if you are part of, I think, a very narrow market that this appeals to, the good news is at least it seems like it's going to deliver the promises that you want it to.
84% gave it 5 stars on Amazon. So, like, we're not the market for this, but this is actually family friendly and for kids. Like, this is way more on track marketing towards that.
And I don't think we need to
it's not marketing to a bunch of 54-year-olds that grew up with the Atari and Intellivision.
No. I don't think we need to keep reinventing the wheel and trying to make new consoles to fit a kid-friendly. This was always my initial talking point with the Amico. We don't need to keep doing this. We have consoles that have kid-friendly things on them that can keep kids engaged, and lots of them even have motion games, Just Dance games, that sort of thing. But again, if for whatever reason you feel like you need a separate console for it, something that they can turn on and they're not going to get into anything, this is at least more interesting to me and far better thought out than something like the Amico ever was.
The annual pass is $89 for the 20 plus games, and they said there's new games released throughout the year and seasonal drops. So they probably do like whatever,
4 drops a year,
3 or 4, whatever.
Yeah,
and you get a few more. No disruptive ads or in-app purchases.
Great.
That's also what the Amico, one of their talking points actually was. So there you go. So you're looking at $290 off the bat if you want to get about 25 games. So there's about 20 to 25 on top of the 5. Let's just say there's almost 30 games right now. 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 20. There's like 28 games right now. And Candyland coming soon. Sugary Sprint. So again, what's going forward is this. They're not rehashes. I believe, knock on wood, these actually are. You can only play them on this console. They are exclusive for what I've seen so far. I don't think Elmo Says is anywhere on their website because you have to react to Elmo. It's Simon Says with Elmo doing things and jumping around. So like I said, there's some thought behind this. It's obviously not our audience, but if I had a little 7-year-old Pat, 6-year-old Pat, maybe I'd get him to do it. I don't know.
It's not our audience. If someone came to me and said, should I get my kid a Switch or this, I would say the Switch, but it's a better thought out idea all around, and not just a hack on the Amico, but it's a better thought out idea all around than most of these but for kids
consoles. I'll tell you this. Obviously, these games cost money to make. That's why you need these passes. This is what I said about the Amico, kind of. If you put this at like $130 and included 20 games with this would be a killer. This would sell a ton. If you can market this, effective marketing, and say, hey, you buy it once, you never have to buy it again. We're going to give you 20 games, and of these style games, you'll sell a lot because there's less risk.
If you could get it down to 225 with all the games already on there, I think it would sell like gangbusters.
225?
Yeah, if you could get it to that.
How about 200 with 30 games?
Yeah.
And that's your only purchase ever.
Yep.
I was trying to get it down to like 130. I was trying to get to that era, 125.
Yeah, I think if you could get it in the $200 range, the $200 price tag doesn't necessarily... I think it's a little much, but it's the... While I understand and do see the positives in the Game Pass method of it,
sure,
I think that's gonna that puts it into an area of price that I'm no longer interested in. I couldn't get behind.
The Game Pass for something like this, I actually like for this respect. These are all, for the most part, very simple games. Mm-hmm. So if you charge $10 to $20 for one of these, you can be very burned if the kid doesn't like it. Sure. Versus, hey, we have 25 games now. I spent $89. If you don't like 5 of them, there's 20 more of them right there.
And if you're sitting there at the end of the year with 25 games and you don't like some of them, it doesn't feel as bad. You assume there's going to be some duds when you do that, as opposed to buying them piece by piece and finding the duds individually.
And if your kid doesn't like it anymore, you don't do your subscription next year, and you still have 5 games, or is it 5 or 6 on the console? So at least you have that.
Yep.
So like it's hard to come out with these consoles. So I don't know how else you can do it. This is not a bad business model. I just think if you got that price down more and included more games, I think, and marketed well, I think you would get a lot more buyers. That's all. 200, which is Switch Lite price, that's a little tough for that. Even though obviously on Switch you got to buy all the individual games. So there you go. All right, so there you go. We're shilling for the next Playground. So send me one. I'll try it out. I actually would try it out.
I would. I'm not shilling for it. I don't want one, but I would. I would try it. I'd check it out.
What's the definition of shill again? I think I got it on here.
I'm looking at the definition of shill: an accomplice of a swindler who acts as an enthusiastic customer to entice or encourage others.
Okay, so they're not swindling, so we're not shills.
We're not shills.
If they were swindling, we'd be shills potentially.